I'm not sure if we had that going last time, but it's been running on beta meet Jitsi. It's pretty stable for a couple weeks. So we didn't quite manage to make it run on meet Jitsi yet because of internal constraints, but not because of stability. So that's cool. Also, we're progressing nicely on updating Meet to use the library. So maybe Christo will share a few things on that as well. Um, and um, we added authentication, JWT support for Meet and to the library, which might be useful depending on how you run your service. And I think these are the main things. So I see Boris and Christor here. Everyone else is on vacation. Guys, do you want to share anything? Oh, Brian, I know that you were interested in that.
Did you say more than one pinned endpoint at a time? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mhm.
Okay, just to make sure everyone got the question, we're planning on allowing Babel usage in Meet and in the Meet library. Does anyone have a problem with that? Does anyone have a non-problem with it? Or is anyone happy? Does anyone care? Does anyone know what Babel is? Okay. So maybe Boris, you want to give a few lines about what Babel gives us and like what feature specifically this allows to use. So Babel is essentially meant to be disabled someday, right? I don't see why browsers would be inconsistent when they implement the new stuff. That just doesn't make sense. It would mean that we live in an irrational world. Okay. Well, they don't. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I wonder if we should consider a rewrite of that portion of the code to make everything look like classes as opposed to the way that it currently is for consistency. I guess we should. The question is, would we prioritize that in the following months? And I personally don't know.
I don't think you're that far off. I mean, I think it's the right way. Everybody seems to be moving to ES6 style. I mean, the big part of it is importing classes rather than using require.js and things like that, right? At least now. But there is other nice ways of defining classes in ES6. So I think it's a good thing to move to that.
Right. Thanks, Chris.
I think we've also considered it for call.stats.io to be more modularized. I think we're all waiting for, I guess, if more people start to move to this new form, there would be an incentive at our end to do the same. Until that time, doesn't seem logical for us because we have to support both forms until then. So if there are more people moving to this, then
Well, unless if you're using something like Babel, in which case you don't, right?
It is a little bit of an overhead if you're not compatible with that for projects that, it almost forces you to put that in your workflow.
Right.
Babel compilation.
Okay.
Wider input ML for this, but yeah, we're
I'm sorry,
okay.
what's that?
I said you might need wider input for like making a decision, but if you do make a decision, then just communicate it to us as well.
Yeah, we've actually made the decision. We sort of decided to move not to move, but to start using Babel unless we hear some concerns from anyone, which is why we're talking about it right now. And I don't hear any concerns, so it sounds like we'll go ahead and just move on.
Okay.
So for us, it's not a big deal, at least not for starters, because it's just about adding a library and allowing the use of a new syntax. And that's all that it comes down to. Speaking of the new library, Christo, would you like to share a little bit about the progress of switching Meet to it? Your audio is not working. You may want to join Boris in. Oh, actually, maybe he's not there. No, he is there.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, we are.
Great. So we have some progress on the library. We have some fixes, like better IE10 support. We fixed some issues there. Also, I have some commits that supports for the desktop sharing support. We tried now. Maybe it's not very stable because it's not tested well, but soon I'll test it. And that's the progress of the library. About the progress on the integration of the library in JitsiMeet, we have pretty good progress. I think Um, maybe we are ready on, let's say, 70% or something like that. I have to check again that, but yeah, something like that, like 70%. We have to test it well after the integration, and I'm sure that we are going to discover some issues, but yeah, probably soon we are going to be able to switch to that version. Maybe after,
Soon? How soon?
I hope after a couple of weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks, we should be ready with that. But yeah, couple of weeks.
Okay. All right. Anyone else want to share something?
So I can give an update on iOS. We have both good news and bad news,
Oh,
but not that bad of news. The good news is we have multiple streams rendering now in the iOS client. The
that's
bad
really
news
cool.
is we still have a little bit of cleanup on some of our code. So even though I said last week, and it just happened to be a very busy week for the past 2 weeks. So now that the holidays are here, should have more time to spend, and hopefully should get it out by the end of the year.
Now that the holidays are here, should have a little bit more time to work.
Exactly. So yeah, this time it's hopefully for real. Should be by the end of the year. We'll have it out.
That's great news, Chris. Thanks for sharing that. That's pretty cool.
I could probably try to connect again
Yeah,
if you want.
I do.
Yeah,
I think can you hear me? I just connected.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Vinay. From iOS? Yeah.
Yeah. I
Awesome.
can see Karthik. I can see ML.
Can you turn your
I can see.
bring up a
Phone.
browser tab so you can show people?
Yeah, let me do that.
From the angle, it seems it is a cell phone because there is no way a laptop would be in that position.
Yeah. If I change this, yeah, I made it portrait now.
Actually, I have something else that's worth sharing and that people might appreciate as well. So don't leave right after Vinayak's demo.
Well, we might have something to say as well.
Chris, can you try? I think it's taking time for my browser to load.
Yeah, I'll join.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, can you hear me? Oops, let me turn down my volume. So
Oh, my mute button is not working because of a call stats failure. That's interesting.
can you guys see that? Can you guys see that? Sorry.
That's odd. Can you send us a log?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. 4 up.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, we see ourselves.
So
Awesome.
So yeah.
So why did you guys decide to do the split screen thing as opposed to
Mike and his guys have been working really hard on it, so
that is great work. Do you guys hear me?
taking a virtual round of applause.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is pretty cool, Chris, Vinayak. That's great work. Why did you guys decide to go with the split screen thing as opposed to the thumbnails?
Well, we can change that, I guess.
Well, the main thing is that simulcast does not work with the split screen thing.
Right. Yeah. One step.
But it's people have been asking to have the two layouts for a while, so I guess it's good to have the option. It does look impressive, so congrats, Vinayak and whole team.
Thank you.
When do you guys think you'll? Oh yeah, you said you had a little bit more cleanup to do, so you think maybe early next year, January?
Yeah. I said try by the end of the year. Now that I have.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, didn't hear that. And Chris, I know that you've been. I was supposed to. We had to talk for the Jigasi changes integration. I haven't forgotten. It's just that it was a bit of a crazy week.
Yeah. Let me know when you can discuss that.
Yeah, we'll do.
Hey, Emil, you were talking about for the simulcast for the split screen. Does that mean that for simulcast, if you want to do thumbnails and simulcast, you have to do the mode where you see all of the explicit send streams and not the rewriting? Or is there
What? I didn't get that.
if you want to do the thumbnail mode in
Yeah.
simulcast,
Yeah.
you have to do the mode on the bridge where the bridge re-advertises all of the individual simulcast streams from each client, or does it have a way to do that even with, does that work with the rewriting the same way it does before simulcast?
Oh no, I'm talking about no. I was really just considering the rewriting. But my comment to Chris was that if you're just showing 4 equivalent streams, then you can't really use simulcast. I mean, you could in theory, and in practice you could. It's just that it doesn't make sense because one of your equivalent streams is going to be good quality, and all of your other streams are going to be bad quality, and like why? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. So there's no way to, except for maybe, well, you could explicitly request the lowest quality for all of the clients, but would you have to not do the rewriting to be able to do that and explicitly request the?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Or does the bridge have a way to?
I just don't understand. I just don't see. I see what you mean. Basically, you'd like to use simulcast for the adaptivity thing. Is that what you're thinking? Like you'd like to have multiple streams and just switch between higher and lower quality based on available bandwidth estimations?
Well, yeah, you could do that. I was even just thinking on mobile, probably most of the anything above the base layer is probably a waste anyways. The screen is just so small so that you might only want the lowest.
Don't you guys have modern mobiles in San Francisco? Because on my mobile, it does make a difference. But I mean, it's that end of the world that you're living, maybe.
Yeah.
No, well, actually, yeah, that's a good point. I'm not sure exactly what we support in terms of presets right now. Like, would you be able to say to configure a specific endpoint to only receive lower quality? I don't think we support that preset right now, but I think it would be trivial to add.
Okay. But it's doing the detection on its own. Which may, I guess, convey in that same.
Who's doing the detection on its own?
Well, if the bandwidth isn't that significant, it may arrive at that result anyways, I was thinking. But
Well, right now it doesn't do bandwidth estimations at all on the bridge for the rewriting module. Doesn't do any bandwidth estimations. I mean, simulcast with rewriting has no support for what we call adaptive simulcast. So the only time it switches is when you actually tell the bridge, send me this in high quality and send me this in low quality, which actually makes me think that if you're a mobile, you can just request low quality. Yeah, so that should work already. Now
But
that
I
I'm
thought
thinking.
that George had said that it was doing two things. One, on the send side, Chrome is making a decision how many of the layers it sends. And then on the downlink for the receiver side, the bandwidth estimation was seeing how much there was available, and then it was taking kind of the intersection of those two to figure out which stream to actually forward.
That's the intent. The part that is ready is taking into account the switches that come from the sender to the bridge. Also triggering, handling manually triggered switches, like when you click on different thumbnails. That part is ready too. The part that is not ready is for the bridge to take into account the REMBs and the loss and all that, and do switches by itself.
So does that mean in that last end mode, you won't really be exercising the simulcast?
No, it does not.
Because last end, there's no request for high versus low, right? The bridge just forwards.
I think it just depends on the dominant speaker is sending the high resolution, and all the others are low resolution, unless you click on a specific tab.
Right, and last end, all you get are the dominant speakers. So I'm assuming then that it'll only forward high quality. It won't ever use any of the other layers yet until that extra logic gets added in.
No, actually, last end does not only have dominant speakers. It has a history of dominant speakers, but there's always one dominant. So I think what would happen is that you would actually get the same behavior.
Is that really what you'd want? What we'd want in last end? Like if last end is 2, that means the most recent speaker you'd get would be in the high, and the second most would be in the low.
Actually, what you'd want is that's something that we've talked about recently. What you'd want is highly dependent on the application. So actually, what Boris has in mind is to sort of throw all of the characteristics of a stream in some sort of a representation descriptor, and then have all possible representations of streams basically put together, and which one you choose, which configuration of streams you choose is dependent on application. I mean, is something that we can work on and maybe potentially even allow people to add their own configurations. What I'm trying to say is that like if you start throwing things like last end and adaptive last end and simulcast and SVC into the picture, then you end up with so many potential combinations, and how you go through all of these and whether you drop layers or streams or participants actually becomes equivalent in a bunch of cases. So really what decision you would take would depend on your application. So we are part of what Boris is doing is about making that choice more easily configurable. So does that sort of answer your question?
If you're saying the plan is to make things super configurable, then I think it probably does. We'll probably imagine what we want to do. I think what we would want is the thing I had in mind was just something, I think, somewhat simple, which is just, if we set last end to 2, we want, based on the receiver's downlink bandwidth, we want the highest quality of the 2 streams that's available that would fit, basically.
But would you have a priority for one of them based on who spoke more recently, or based on who's being currently watched more than the other?
No. I think when we treat last end, if we had 2 last end streams up, they're treated equivalently on the main stage, for example.
So what if you can only fit one HD? You just get one, doesn't matter which one?
Well, I think, yeah, sure. If you had to choose one or the other, I guess we probably pick the more recent one. But I think the way we'd have to think about what sort of like packing algorithm would you want to use, and maybe it'd be nice to have a hook for this in terms of, if you got X amount of bandwidth and you want to fit 2 streams into it, how do you do the maximum for the first stream and then whatever's left over for the second, or do you try and evenly put both of the streams into the available bandwidth? I guess would be 2 of the options. So that I haven't given a ton of thought about, but
that's actually I think a great argument for the architecture that Boris is working on, because that really is like, here's all the possible combinations of streams that we can send you. Now let's define a policy that works the way you want it to work.
Yeah.
Previously,
that'd be great.
That's Boris. I'm not misrepresenting what you have in mind, right? Yeah, but I don't think Brian is even worried about the clients being able to request it. I think if he can stick his class in there that says, that sort of gives them the behavior that he wants, he'd be happy. And then if clients if that needs to change as per different clients, then that can actually be specific to the policy even.
Yeah, I mean, we don't mind, if we have to add code to configure. I mean, if a policy can be configured on a channel or something like that, like the way last end value is configured, I mean, that would be fine. And that'd actually be better, right? We can avoid, the nice thing about last end is we can avoid the round trip from requests from the client to make a switch happen or something. So.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting thing to consider. But in the previous architecture, we would have actually worked exactly the way you wouldn't want it to work. Basically, we would have assumed a thumbnail layout, and we would have just sent you one of the last 10 participants in high quality, and everyone else in the history is with
really
low quality. That's what we would have done previously before Boris decided to get smart. So.
Oh, but but not before simulcast, not the state of things before simulcast at all. Or yes, you're saying that, because I don't know that I've noticed that.
Okay, if I have to be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure exactly how simulcast would work with last 10 right now, but I think it would work the way you don't want it to work. I think it would always send you low quality, except if you ask high quality for certain participant. I don't even know if you can actually ask. Can you currently ask high quality for 2 participants, Boris? Right. It's sort of like a radio button, right? The minute you request someone in high quality, it disables everyone else's high quality, right? Yeah. So.
Something we can change. Is this configuration done by the bridge, or?
The request of a high quality stream is done by the client. It basically oh, guys, you need to reload your page. Because you're home echo counselor, basically. Phone.
Yep.
Can you reload your page? Thank you. Shit. Oh, okay. It's now. Yeah, something's wrong with your echo counselor. Oh, it's okay now. No, it's not. Fuck. Fuck. Okay. So, yeah, to sum it up, Brian you cannot do what you want to do today. It works the opposite of what you would want it to work, and part of the new way of doing things is to make that possible.
Okay, because I mean I don't know if I've even noticed that, but you're saying if we don't send any explicit message, we just configure last N and we just react to the dominant and last N things that we get. We're getting one of those in the higher layer and one of those in the base layer.
Either that, or you're getting everyone in low quality.
Okay.
I'm not sure which of the two.
Okay, I'll have to double check. I don't know that I've noticed that was even the case. I'll.
Are you guys? So what you're saying makes me. Am I properly understanding that you actually are playing with simulcast?
So we done. No, we're not yet, and I guess maybe this is why we're not noticing yet because yeah, I'm remembering we just did a test. We did a side-by-side test with like Meet, Jitsi Meet, and Beta Jitsi Meet, kind of 10 minutes on each to see what difference we saw.
Okay.
We didn't actually end up seeing much of a difference, but this was a few weeks ago. We don't have the logic on the web clients yet in our stuff to add all this simulcast SDP. So
right.
So now that would explain why I'm not seeing this, right? Because we're not even configuring that from the client. I forgot about that.
Okay.
But I assume in the old world, if the client's not signaling those simulcast layers, then well, obviously there's just the one. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
So the other thing that I wanted to share today is something that Lubo did last week. Let me just find it here. So let me share my screen. You guys let me know when you see it.
I can see it.
All right. So this is basically the performance that we had around October last year. When you run on a reference machine, 200 megabits of traffic through a bridge there. Basically, the starting point was that we were at about 10%, just under 10% on that machine. Then with time, as we were adding more and more stuff, we were compromising that performance a little bit, and then it got particularly bad in the past several months, where we were almost up into 30%. So Lubo started looking into that last week and did a bunch of fixes, a bunch of optimizations, and he got us down here. So we're pretty much back where we used to be about a year ago.
Awesome.
Which is pretty cool. So kudos to Lubo. He's traveling today. So, I have a typo in his name. Well, that's to thank him. If he had managed to bring it down to 5%, I would have written his name correctly. But I'm joking. I'll fix that. Anyway, so that was the other thing that I wanted to share. And yeah, Varun, Karthik, I'll send you the exception that I had here with Ghost that prevents me from muting my my stream.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Anything else?
I think from our end, we are ready to announce call stats Java. I'm wondering if there is anything that you guys want to say before we say it's ready. Like,
what do you mean?
Like, I think it's been running in test for a while, so I think we're confident to say it works. I'm just hoping you can say
if you'd like us to back up the fact that it works, yeah, we'd be happy to do that. Although we are.
T-shirt. Huh?
I'm sorry?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's no one on this call at all.
Yeah, so the like apart from backing up, I think one thing that we might be missing is instructions to help other people integrate it. I think on Beat Jitsi it probably is easy because we've seen other people do it. But on the bridge, I'm curious if anyone else has tried it. And
Yeah, we should add instructions there, but I guess we were just waiting for boy, that echo is distracting me a lot. So we're still waiting to sort of turn that on in production because of the we needed a few things fixed, and I don't think we've had time enough to enable it. So we haven't been using this quite massively just yet, and we're going to add instructions.
okay, do you think that you could send the instructions to us sometime soon? Like soon being, we probably hold up the blog post of announcement until we have those instructions, because I think without the instructions, other people don't go. So
so we'll let's try to do that this week. Actually, I'm not sure that we'd be able to do that because now I'm thinking everyone is on vacation. So I'll ask Damien. Damien, are you in the call? Yes, here you are. Damien? Yeah.
He's
Do you think you'd be able to write a quick MD file on in the video bridge docs to say how to enable call stats?
Okay. I'll try that.
You're going off on vacation like what, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow?
Yeah, it's when Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, so if you get a chance to write that,
and share
that
it
would be
with
great.
Karthik, because he could use those instructions on our own Jitsi bridge, and then we'll be good to go.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, Emil, I noticed from the call and if I'm reading the SDP right, that it looks like you guys don't have the AV sync stream merge stuff in here.
Yep.
You guys pulled that out?
Yep, we did, because Chrome is great. So it turned out that when you do actually start announcing everything in the same stream, and you enter a call where someone has muted their video, you don't hear them. Do you remember there was this problem in a call?
Yeah.
Hey, Varun, can you mute, please? Thanks.
Your auto canceller's not working.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually making things very bad.
Okay, so it's because of the. Okay. All right. Okay, I think maybe. So when you guys video mute, are you not? Does Jitsi Meet not destroy the video stream completely? You're just...
No, the whole point is what we wanted to do is to video mute as a local thing. We didn't want.
Okay.
We didn't want that to involve an offer answer over the network, because that's fucking stupid and it really pisses me off. And it actually works all the time, except when you start, because of this stupid requirement that Chrome has to see audio packets and video packets.
Yeah. Okay. We have, at least as of now, we're destroying the video. So that's why I think that's probably why we haven't seen this, but I was just curious what you guys had yanked it for. Okay.
Well, it's not about destroying the video. It's mainly about letting the remote party know that your video muted.
Well, right, but you'd have to do that in such a way that stream is gone, I imagine, right? Because otherwise, Chrome stack is going to wait for the video to try and sync.
No, I mean, if you just say that that you're now receive only for video, that just works.
Right. That's what I. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Except that what we've been really trying to avoid to do is getting any network communication about that in the process. And because when people start muting and unmuting during the call, that would just contribute to such a great SDP party that I'm trying to think of all the race conditions that could occur out of there. It just makes my head hurt, and it sounds like a big problem to me. Yeah, so I think what we were hoping to do is to either, like we had a bunch of workarounds that we thought of internally, like maybe enable lip sync for everyone except people who would be in that situation, but then we have to add that logic somewhere, maybe in the focus or maybe in the client itself, and that would make things crappier wherever we add this. The other option was to basically make the video bridge send a black keyframe to every new participant that joins with some small size, just to make sure that that unblocks their lip sync buffers. But that turned out to not be super trivial. So if we go down that road, we'd have to spend some more time. And then the third option that we thought that we might try before we go and hack on sending artificial keyframes was to just go and see if there's a sensible way of removing that requirement in the WebRTC stack and then contributing the patch to Google and then crossing our fingers and hoping that someone there would agree. But all of that would have to happen after the vacations because everyone's gone now.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys are announcing video mutes remotely. You do an offer answer for everyone when you video mute.
Yep.
And
We actually thought, honestly, I assumed that if we didn't get rid of the stream, I didn't know that the bridge would be smart enough not to try and switch it in as an active speaker. Anyways.
Mhm.
So we were making the choice between, well, we either destroy the stream and we fall back into a known use case, or we have to come up with a way to signal and like blacklist the stream from being switched and either to the bridge or to the clients. And we thought that it would be easier to just ditch it anyways.
And that's not working. How's that working out for you?
So far it's been fine, but you know, we can't really testify much to
large scale things.
To scale our usage numbers like you guys see. So I don't know, maybe it's going to end up being a problem down the line.
Well, to be perfectly honest, we sort of did that as a preventive measure, not because we actually saw problems with it. So maybe I'm the one who's being paranoid here. I don't know. Just from an ideological perspective, I don't see why I have to tell people that I'm not sending them packets anymore. They're going to see that they're not getting any packets. So anyway. Right. But I just consider some options not to be worth worrying about. So what if they're actually putting the packets on a buffer that is eventually going to trigger an atomic bomb? Like, you know, that's a possibility, but I guess
it would be an interesting trigger mechanism.
It would be, yeah.
We also do, it's also because we do a slightly different switching mode, right? Like if you guys have someone video muted and they talk, I think you still show the avatar or something on the main stage, right? But
yeah, I mean, so actually that's a good thing. We do tell people that we are video muted. But we do that through the presence part of XMPP, and we see that as a just an asynchronous notification that doesn't matter that much if it's delayed, if it collides with other notifications, it just doesn't matter. It's just doing the offer answer that really personally bugs me. But yeah. Anyway. Oh, okay. So.
Hey, Emil.
Yes.
You were talking about the optimizations. Is that, I missed it. Do you say that's checked in or?
Yeah, it's in.
On which one? The video bridge?
On the video bridge, yes.
Yeah. I was looking at the commits and I couldn't find it, but.
It was from the week before, not last week, but the week before, around Friday. There was look for commits from El Marinov. Oh, right.
In the Jitsi, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's what I needed. Thank you.
Okay. Vinayak hasn't been able to make his mind all through the call whether he's staying or whether he's going.
I wonder if it's because we're all sharing our video.
Oh, it might be killing his connection.
Yeah, I think so.
Where is he based?
In Philly?
Bangalore. Bangalore.
Okay.
Varun, you guys need to get an echo canceling microphone. Like, I can send you an Amazon link.
Sure, do that. We probably buy two. Yeah, there's also Christmas coming up, so you could actually send us the thing.
I'm sorry I lost you. I didn't hear that last part. So, okay, bye everyone. No, actually, seriously, I don't have anything else. So unless there's mute. Okay, thank you. So unless there's anyone else, except people suggesting that I buy them presents, if there's anyone else that wants to share something, please do. Otherwise, we're ending this go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a happy Christmas, everyone, or just happy vacation. Bye.
Happy holidays.